Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Fajar and I'm a student at University Muhamad Surakarta, entering in chemical engineering. Now, I'm going to presentation about how to process petroleum into consumables that can be used for our daily life. Why I choose this topic? Because many people out there only know for the basic ingredients of useful ingredients from petroleum such as LPG, gasoline, kerosene, and many more. But not only just few people know how the process is made. That's why I choose this topic. Now, there are several steps before making final product that we use in everyday. First is distillation, second is cracking, third is reforming, fourth alkylation, next is polymerization, treating, and the last step is blending. Now we are going to the first step. Okay, now we are going to the first step. First step is distillation. Distillation is the process of separating fraction in petroleum based on their boiling point. This distillation used is multi-level distillation, and this process is carried out in a airtight tower which is heated at 1 atmosphere with temperature of 370 degrees Celsius. And as you can see, the fraction that has a high boiling point is at the bottom of the tower, while the fraction that has low boiling point is at the top of the tower. And then we're going to do the second step. Okay, now second step. Second step is about cracking. Cracking is to compose large molecules of hydrocarbon compounds into hydrocarbon molecules with smaller sizes. And actually there are three ways for this cracking process. First is thermal cracking, and then second is catalytic cracking, and third is hydrocracking. Now we are going to the third step. Third step is about reforming. Reforming is changing the structure of the poor quality fraction molecules, which is a straight carbon chain, into better quality fraction molecules, which is a branched carbon chain. And this process can be done using a catalyst or heated process. And look at the example. There are a straight carbon chain like butane into a branched carbon chain into two methyl propane. That means this process of reforming will be increase the quality fraction of molecules. Now we are going to the next step. Okay, now is alkylation. Alkylation is the process of increasing the number of atoms fraction so that the fraction's molecule become longer and branched. This process usually uses a strong acid catalyst such as sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, and aluminum chloride. Now look at this example. Example is benzene combining with ethyl chloride, and using catalyst aluminum chloride will produce methyl benzene. And from this we know that methyl benzene has more number of atoms than benzene. Okay, now is polymerization. Polymerization is the process of combining small molecules into a larger molecules in a fraction so that the fraction of quality of fraction will increase. And the example is isobutane. With isobutane will produce isobutane, and FYI, isobutane is a substance that contain high quality of gasoline. Now we are going to next step. Next step is treating. Treating is the process of refining petroleum fraction by eliminating impurities that involved in the processing. And the ingredients removed include 1. Bad odors with copper sweetening and chemical treating process, and 2. Paraffin with solvent reduction process, 3. Sludge and color with an acid treatment process, 4. Asphalt with the asphalting process, and 5. Sulfur with the sulfurizing process. Now we're going to the last step. Last step is blending. Blending is processes are carried out to increase the quality and ready-to-use product by adding some active ingredients to the molecular fraction. The example is TEL or tetraethyl lead. Tetraethyl lead is a substance that used to increase the octane number of gasoline. Thank you, that's my presentation, and we're going to Q&A session. I'm still in senior high school, and I want to ask you about the first step of how to process petroleum into consumables that we can use in our daily life. And the first step is about separating petroleum fraction based on their boiling point. And in the picture you insert into your presentation is just like the round of Celsius degrees, yeah. But I want to know what's the result, like less than 25 degrees, what is the result, and many more. Thank you. Okay, my name is James and I'm 25 years old. I'm going to ask you about the second step. There is cracking, and in this step there are 3 ways to do this step. There are thermal cracking, catalyst cracking, and hydrocracking. And in this presentation you just like mention it, the way that usually used in cracking, but you will not explain it. And I want to you give me an explanation about thermal cracking, catalyst cracking, and hydrocracking. Thank you. Okay, I will answering both questions at once. And the first question is about what's the result from separating fraction petroleum based on their boiling points. Okay, as you can see, I make a list. The first column is about boiling point, and the second column is about fraction, and then third column is about uses. Okay, now we're going to the first separating fraction. Is under 20 degrees Celsius, the fraction is gas, and the uses is LPG fuel. And then second is boiling point around 35 until 75 degrees Celsius. The fraction is gasoline, and the usage is motor vehicle fuel. Third is boiling point around 70 until 170 degrees Celsius. The fraction is naphtha. Uses is industrial raw materials. And then boiling points at around 170 degrees until 250 degrees Celsius. The fraction is kerosene, and uses is as aircraft fuel. And then 250 degrees until 340 degrees Celsius, the fraction is diesel oil. The uses is diesel engine oil and diesel engine fuel. I'm sorry. And then there are 250 degrees until 500 degrees Celsius. The fraction is lubricant, and the usage is also lubricant. And the boiling point at more than 500 degrees Celsius, the fraction is asphalt, and the usage is road surface coating. Now we're going to the second question. Second question is about cracking. In the process of cracking, there are 2 ways to use this process. There are thermal cracking, catalyst cracking, and hydrocracking. I'm going to explain one by one. Okay. First is thermal cracking. Thermal cracking is a process from cracking that use high temperature around 800 degrees Celsius and low pressure around 700 kPa or kilopascal. The reaction that occurs is hemo, hemo, hemolytic fusion, and the result is alkene as the basic material for polymer production. And then the second is catalyst cracking. Catalyst cracking is the process from cracking that using a catalyst to speed up the reaction rate. And the example from catalysts such as silica, alumina, xylate, and etc. And the reaction used in catalyst cracking is cracking of carbanion ions. And then the last is hydrocracking. In hydrocracking is the process from cracking the combination about thermal cracking and catalyst cracking to produce saturated compounds that carried out with high pressure. The production are jet fuel, gasoline, and diesel with high octane numbers. And this is my answer for both questions. I hope this will make you some insight. And for the questioner, I hope you enjoy or satisfied with my answer. Now we're going to the last session. Is about conclusion. Okay, now I'm going to make a conclusion from my presentation about how to process petroleum into consumables that can be used for our daily life. First is distillation. There is a separating fraction petroleum based on their boiling points. And then cracking. Cracking is process of decomposing molecule of hydrocarbon compounds into molecules hydrocarbon with smaller sizes. And there is three ways, such as thermal cracking, catalyst cracking, and hydrocracking. Okay, next is reforming. Reforming is changing the structure fraction from poor quality into better quality with heated or catalyst process. And then next is alkylation. Alkylation is the process of increasing number of atoms of the fraction. And then polymerization is combining small molecules into large molecules, and then will be increase the quality. Then next is treating. Treating is about refining the fraction from impurities that involved in the processing, such as paraffin or asphalt, reactors, and many more. And then the last step is blending. Blending is about adding some active ingredients such as TEL, tetraethyllead, that used for increasing octane number of gasoline. Okay, that's my presentation about how to process petroleum into consumables that can be used for our daily life. And I'm so sorry if there's a mistake that I made in this video. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time.